We're gonna see if we can get this working here. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody here today. We're really excited to be able to celebrate 35 years. We had some entertainment this morning and I went through a few thank yous, but I just wanted to make sure that I covered everybody. So first of all, if you don't know me, I'm Katie. I'm the current coordinator here at the Adult Community Center. I've been here for about a year. Today we have Mayor Bob Burns with us, and we have the former coordinator Barb Lipinski, and she was here for about 27 years. We've got Darwin Leek, who is a Mask board president, and Jennifer Andrews from the Lyon County Museum. So we're excited just to have a fun program for you today. Just a housekeeping thing, if you need to get up and come in and out as you're able, that's fine. If you need to come in and out, we won't bother anybody. If you have a phone, could you please turn your phone to silent? We'll give you 30 seconds for that. But I just want to thank everybody. We've had so many volunteers just today, but over the years we've had a number of volunteers that have helped make this center what it is today. And we're so grateful to every single one of you. And these are volunteers including bingo callers, the fitness leaders or program instructors, all the people who have made bars and cakes and pies and snacks, and all the people who help with coffee. You know, we couldn't do this without you. When we were looking at setting up for this event today, we thought, oh, it's going to be a lot of work Thursday night. And we just had all these volunteers come in, and it was done in about a half an hour. So this center really is for you, and you guys make it possible for us to function how we do. The next group that I want to thank is the city staff. I want to thank Jenny. She's put a lot of work into making today. Jenny is our program specialist. She's been here for about a year. And Jenny just has the heart of gold. She really, truly wants to see each one of you have successful opportunities to participate in our programs and just enjoy your day here. I want to thank all of the former staff, including Barb. Sherry Apple is here today. Sherry, raise your hand and wave. And Heather, and I think I'm missing Sherry, Jenny, Heather. I want to thank all the maintenance and the custodians that help keep this building clean and running. We kind of poked fun a little bit about some of the building stuff this morning in our song, which you'll hear again this afternoon. And we have Studio One here that has really helped us keep track of all of our technical needs that we have here, and sometimes we need them a lot more than they probably want to help us with. All right, so we have the staff from Lutheran Social Services, and you guys who were here for lunch got the opportunity to meet all of them. They have worked hard to make sure that they provide meals today, but also over the years. And aside from LSS, we also have had a lot of volunteers help with that as part of the Senior Center. We had a lot of community partners that also help. So we just thank all of our community partners, whether they've given donations, whether they've given time and talents to come and share a program with us, or provided us with a supply of some sort. We just really appreciate all of that. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Bob. Bob has been the mayor for maybe, I don't know how long, but maybe the same as Barb's been the coordinator, maybe longer, maybe less. I'm not sure. But I will let him give you a little chat here.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Katie. First off, is this coming through? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Yeah, I have been mayor for 31 years, or almost 32, but I was on the city council 6 years before that. So I was around when this, before this center was built, and in fact I was around, and some of you in the crowd were around too, like Tom Milbrook when he was city clerk, and Harry Weilage when he was director of Parks and Recreation and Community Education at that time. So I'm going to go back, first off, congratulations on 35 years. I'm going to go back a couple years before that. That was 37 years, and at that time Bob Schlegel was the mayor, and on the city council were people like Randy Kirchner and John Rogowski and Lanny Brzezinski and Judy Szynski, and probably forgetting a couple. But at that time, the senior, I won't even call it center, the senior gathering area was in the basement of City Hall. And there wasn't the congregate food there because that was really at restaurants, so it was separated. And there was really a need for a center. And there was an active group that was really advocating for that, lobbying for that. And some of you might remember the name Jo Sonsigard. She was a strong, strong voice for the need for a senior center. She was a very convincing person too. And I recall at one of the meetings, city council meetings, we had this need, but we also had other needs too. And Councilman John Rogowski said, the only way that we're going to, all these things are important, the only way we're going to get it done is to go to a referendum vote and ask the voters, if they'll support it. So John made the motion to go to a referendum vote. I believe Lenny Brzezinski seconded it, and it passed. And the vote then was scheduled. It was a referendum vote, and there was 3 questions on there. There was 3 projects that the voters were given the choice for. One was to fix the swimming pool, because there was big needs at the pool, still are, but to fix the pool. The second was question, and these weren't in any rank order, but the second question was to build a senior center. And then the third question was to complete 51 Acre Park. 51 Acre Park was the predecessor to, it was a 51 acre field, and it became Independence Park. And so the question is, do we do it all at once, or do we do it over time? So that vote was put to the public, and the pool and the senior center did pass. My recollection was that that kind of started a bunch of hard work, like where should it be? And there was, this location was owned by the city because it was acquired as part of a redevelopment. There were some houses that were removed. There was the former drive-up for Bremer Bank, was when Bremer Bank was where the Gambler is now. That was here, and so before the downtowner apartments went in, this was all a redevelopment area. So the city owned this land, and the debate was, do we build it here, or do we build it at Liberty Park? That was the other, on the opposite side from the river. Of course, it would have been more expensive because there was need for a parking there, whereas we could utilize the parking here. So this was the site that was selected. And we had a budget, and we needed to follow that budget. Group 2 was the architect for this building, and there was quite a bit of, at that time, innovation that was built into that planning. And some of it worked out nicely, and some of it had to be corrected over time because maybe it was a little bit too ahead of its time. One of the innovative things I recall was under the floor here. There's, Harry, I don't know if you remember, there's numerous feet of big rock, and that was to retain heat so that the heat could be recirculated through the ductwork that is underneath the floor here. So I think that's all been corrected since that time. So because there was other problems with that. So then I went out to bid, and I could be off a little bit on numbers, but it was $428,000. That was the low bid. Ironically, we also needed to purchase the ladder truck for the fire department at the same time, and that low bid came in at $430,000. So this center actually cost about the same as what the new fire truck did. So that really started the work and the programming, and Mary Snowball was hired as the first coordinator, and then when Mary retired, then the senior commission at that time made the recommendation to the city that Barb would be hired. So that's, sometimes I feel like a historian on this, but I actually should leave that to you. So hopefully I didn't take what you're going to talk about, but long history. And one of the things I'll just close with one of the things I do remember was at the ribbon cutting, and the Randy Kirshner said, a community can be judged by how they treat their seniors. So congratulations.
Well, thank you for that. That was a good history of how we got here today, and we're glad that we are here. Sharon Hansen was listed on your programs. She had a schedule change, and so we have just a short video clip that Jenny's going to set up here, and we'll play that video clip from her. That's fine. Okay, while she's working on that, we'll see if we can get that to play at some point here. Some of you, oh, here we go.
It's not as big in the volume.
Maybe we'll just see her face. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can get that sorted out at some point here. The original, as you heard Bob say, the original person that was hired to work at the center here was Mary Snowball, and we were able to reach out to her, and she sent just a little email back to me. So I'm going to read you what she said. She said, "I worked for the City of Marshall from July 1988 to September 1994. I absolutely loved my work and helping to develop the new area senior center in Marshall. The seniors, city administrator Dwayne Aiden, city staff, and the senior commission, senior nutrition, aging organizations, and so many others were so excited to see the center constructed and dedicated. The Marshall community and area agencies were all enthusiastic about networking with our new center to provide a diversity of programs and services that would improve access for the seniors. Seniors gave countless hours of volunteer community service when it opened and throughout the years. This has been the core of your success. Congratulations to everyone involved today, and know those seniors who have passed on and myself will be with you in your spirit as you celebrate. Thank you for the invite." And then she said, "P.S. October 2038, I will only be 88 when the 50th anniversary rolls around, and I hope to get an invite to that one too."
Okay.
Well, in the meanwhile, we'll go on to our next speaker. So we now have Barb Lipinski, who many of you know, and she, like I said earlier, she was here for 27 years, and she's been enjoying retirement this past year. Barb spent a lot of time helping create the center how it is today. As I've gone through the different community centers in the state and done tours, and I've seen bits and pieces that Barb has brought here and implemented that work so well that other people maybe still struggle with. And it's just really, she's created a beautiful opportunity for you guys today. So we'll have her come up next.
Wow, 35 years in our current location. Congratulations to the Adult Community Center on that 35 years. And may God bless the ACC with many more years yet to come. When I was thinking about the 35 years and I asked to kind of recap, I'm going, oh wow, 35 years. I was teasing Katie, I said, what do you want? Do you want an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours?
I said she had to let that up to you guys.
And then I joked with her, I said, well, maybe 5 minutes, the very most 10. So with that, I'm going to just try to capture what I feel is the essence of the center. And I truly believe that it began in 1966. That's when a couple ladies in this community were really cared and concerned about the elderly that were in the Marshall community. And they wanted to make sure that those people were able to get to their doctor's appointments, had someone come into their homes to visit, and made sure that they got the groceries they needed. It is from that core care and concern that the senior center started. And they started in the basement of the library, which is now the Lyon County Museum, which I hear is going to have a gala there tonight. So it's interesting that that's where they started out. They were there for a number of years, and then they moved on to the basement at City Hall, and they were down there. I would have loved to have been a mouse when they were in the basement of City Hall. I cannot imagine the conversations on the stairways as the seniors were coming in, and maybe a city worker running up. I would have loved to have seen those conversations, but I did not. I do remember also, as Bob was talking, when it came to be a bond referendum, I remember that there was a lot of voting going on and we all had to decide. And I remember that the senior center passed by very few votes. It wasn't by many. So if you ever wonder if your vote counts, it does. But there's stories behind that. I've had many seniors when I first started here, they shared stories about how they went door knocking. Some greeted them with a smile, others slammed the door in their face, and others told them they would have nothing to do with it. Well, lo and behold, after the center was built, a few of those who slammed the door would serve on our board and come down to the center to participate. So that's always interesting. So that's a little bit on the background until we got to this location. And as I think about this location, I think about opportunities and activities. And they've changed over the years. I know when they started in the library, they were playing pool and quilting and having coffee. Those conversations had to have been interesting too. I can't imagine pool balls clanging and as they were stitching, and hopefully no thumb got poked with that needle. And then, like I said, they moved to the basement of City Hall. When they were in City Hall, they added more card games, and then we came today to this facility. And as it was erected, a lot of people in the community were cheering. When I think about the Adult Community Center, I think of several areas. And I'm going to touch the first one that most people always used to say to me, "Oh, you guys always do so many games down there." Yeah, we do. So here's my challenge. Can you come down and play 5 different card games in a week and not mess up the rules? Can you play the game that has so many rules, that has no rules, and not get pucked? That's part of the reason we do the games. And it's not only card games, there's also many other games down here. How about Mahjong? Can you Mahjong without picking up a discard tile? If you know Mahjong, you know what I'm talking about. The reason we do games, it's the fun of playing, right? Who doesn't like to play and have a good time? But it was also very good for our minds. Like I said, if you can keep all those rules straight, and when you come down, not mess up. We all did, even I do. I'll never forget when I messed up on a 12-bit and pepper and we went set. Or it's the ability to play with many different other people and play at your very best and see how good you can do for that afternoon. Or if it's your off afternoon, hopefully your partner will pick you up. The second area is educational, and I think we were just talking about this. Technology. Technology has been very interesting down here. We're working on a program to make sure that the seniors could learn how to email their grandkids. I'm not talking texting, I'm talking emailing and how to type on that computer. Well, we hooked up with the high school students, and the question of the week was, what color hair would it be? We had a high school student that would come in every week with a different color of hair. We had green, purple, blue that I recall. And this particular student was hooked up with one of our board members who made it through 8th grade. And she learned how to email. And the beautiful thing that came out of that is that she continued to email with the student throughout the year. So that connection was made. The hair color really didn't matter. It was just a conversation piece. But from there, we've gone on to what? Smartphones? And what do we do with these pictures? What's the cloud? How do I text? What app should I have? And so now they've had help from the college students. And it's been fun to watch the college students come down here and sit one-on-one and not just say click, 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 but one-on-one, this is what you need to do. We've also had some other fun things with the local schools, like the senior citizen middle student choir and doing a performance at their spring concert. We've done plays where the grade school students have captured the stories and then acted out the plays. And oh yes, the transportation project. One year we did a whole program on transportation. What was your transportation? And it's funny that it's raining out today, because at that time, the seniors would talk about going home on the country roads, and with the vehicle they had to drive up backwards to get up the hill if they were too muddy. Forward didn't work. So that was a whole learning curve for the kids. We've also had a lot of local speakers over the years. We've toured a lot of local businesses, and yes, we've eaten goat at the Hindi store. We've had city government here. We've had the police, the sheriff, and yes, the state parks have been here. Remember our famous duck? And state speakers. We learned the smallest town in Minnesota. Who knows it? Smallest town in Minnesota. I'm telling her to be quiet because she lives close by it. Used to. Funkley. Funkley, Minnesota. Population of 12. So very interesting. To presentations on prohibition. There's a lot of you in here tied into prohibition. I know the stories. And many more speakers over the years. The next area would be health. We like to do exercises down here, and the exercising group has been a dedicated group. By the way, give me 10 squats. Don't forget your helmet and tutu. Blood pressure checks, foot care, flu shots, and I heard you just got shot earlier this week, and speakers on different health topics, from Dr. Willett on the heart health, Prairie Home Hospice, Avera, dementia, falls prevention, and the list goes on. The next category is volunteering, giving back. Wow, you are a group that is hard to follow. You know the true spirit of volunteering. From cleaning the park to serving at the senior center, whether it's folding newsletters, on the board, snacks, help with activities, or supporting groups like the Eagle Scout project with the benches out front that we supported that individual, Ben Leak, in his fundraiser, and he raised more money than what was needed. But your generous heart said, let's give that money back to the Boy Scouts. What a beautiful project. To cancer bags. I think we can all fold them in our sleep. You fold down an inch, you fold them in, and you don't open the bag. It's amazing. We fold tens of thousands. And when I say tens of thousands, I mean tens of thousands of bags. I think one year alone we hit 8,000 bags. And they were doing that in their sleep. And those all went to the Relay for Life. And there's many other projects we've supported over the years. But through all this, the games, the health programs, the educational programs, and the volunteering, there's one unspoken but most important aspect of this center that started from the very beginning in 1966 and is the thread that makes this place the place it is. And that is relationships. Reconnecting with friends, making new friends, needing a hug or a listening ear, or to shed a tear or two, to smiles, laughter, and fun, to never knowing what will be around the next corner. You know, from a peanut butter onion sandwich that got a rating of 10 plus out of 1 out of 10, to pink flamingos, to a board member's book being slowly, I think I just lost power, pulled across the table. It's all about relationships. Wanting to come down and play with those that we know. And if they're not there, why aren't they here? What's going on with them? This is the heart of the center. It's like that warm flannel shirt or that comfy, cozy sweater on a cold, chilly, rainy fall day. So keep up the good work. Keep the relationship strong. Congratulations on 35 years here at this site, but 57 years since its inception. And I'm looking forward to many more years for the ACC. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Barb. That was wonderful. Next, we're going to have the MASC president, Darwin Leak, is going to come up and share a little bit. The MASC is the organization that you heard both Bob and Barb talking about here today. So Darwin has been a leader on the MASC board a number of times, so we'll let him share his words of wisdom here.
Thank you. Isn't it great that we can all be here today to visit and speak with one another and rub shoulders? You remember those days of COVID isolation? Yeah. I do. I remember one day in particular when I finished 4 books. Now I'll tell you, that's a lot of coloring. I wish to thank the speakers before me, and I'd like to take another moment of your time. About 14 years ago, I joined the Marshall Area Senior Center as I was looking for a warm place to do some walking during the winter, as I had suffered a heart attack and my doctor said I needed more exercise. With its friendly atmosphere down here, it was easy to become involved at the center, and next month I'll be concluding my 3rd term as president of the board of directors. Over the past 14 years, Jean and I have met a lot of wonderful people at the Senior Center with its 500 plus members. We have been able to share life stories, thoughts, and ideas, as well as pie and coffee. Keeping us active physically and mentally is the primary goal of our coordinator and program director, Katie and Jenny. I also had the distinct pleasure of working with Barb for a number of years prior to her retirement. They have kept us busy with games, cards, and other activities, in addition to bringing in guest lecturers, instructors, and entertainers. The Marshall Area Senior Center is genuinely thankful to the City of Marshall and its leaders for helping to provide a facility and staff where we can continue to be productive citizens of this community. A special thank you also goes out to all of our newsletter sponsors who make possible our monthly newsletter. You can see all their names on the banner over there and on the roll-up on the television. Our newsletter would not exist without them. I would like to close with familiar words that I use at the end of our membership meetings each month. Our mission here at MASC is to serve members 55 and older, and our vision is to provide a safe and healthy place to build relationships through fun activities and community and educational programs. With the help of the previously noted people, this vision is progressing beautifully. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Darwin. So we are gonna try, when Jenny gets a minute, she's gonna come up and try to replay this song. I think most of you heard it this morning. We had Happy to Be Here, which was Darwin Dice and Lee Canton, and they wrote a song special for the center. So we're gonna try to replay that for any of you that may have missed it. And if we can't get that going, we'll have Jennifer Andrews from the Lyon County Museum. She's gonna come up and give us a 35-year trivia, and then we'll wrap things up after that. So let's see if we can get this song going here. Well, we'll get to see their shining faces at least up here. We'll work on that. If we can get that to play later, maybe while you guys are going through the cake line, we'll do that. But next, I'd like to welcome Jennifer Andrews up. She's going to come and give us some fun trivia, and then we'll wrap things up here.
right, thank you. And I just want to, first of all, reiterate what the previous speaker said, and congratulations on 35 years in this facility. That is quite an honor. And it shows by the great turnout today, all of the member support for this facility. My role today is to share trivia from 35 years ago, from 1988. And yes, I had to look all of this up because I was only 2 years old at the time, just about to turn 3. But some of these things I learned afterwards. So first of all, I just want to share some things that were happening on a national, global scale, and then I'll turn to some things that were happening locally, and then I just have a few other little tidbits from 1988. So in January 1988, the San Francisco 49ers beat the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 22. In February, the Winter Olympics were held in Calgary, Canada. In April, the 60th Academy Awards ceremony took place with The Last Emperor winning Best Picture. In May, the United States Supreme Court rules that trash may be searched without a warrant. In October, the film E.T. is released to home video with 14 million copies sold. In November, Vice President and Republican nominee George H.W. Bush defeats the Democratic nominee and governor of Massachusetts, Michael Dukakis. In December, a bomb exploded on Pan Am Flight 103 in Scotland, killing 270 people. On a local level, what was happening 35 years ago? Independence Park was dedicated. An explosion at the Minnesota Corn Processors plant in Marshall ripped apart the exterior of the plant's main building. The 1988 presidential campaign, Kansas Senator Bob Dole was in Marshall and held a town meeting at the Marshall Inn. And then also that year, it was the centennial anniversary of Marshall High School's first graduating class. The first high school graduating class was in 1888, so they held kind of a centennial anniversary of that. Some other tidbits: the most popular gift for kids for their birthday or Christmas was the Nintendo Entertainment System. Nike makes advertising history with their Just Do It campaign. The Phantom of the Opera made its Broadway debut in 1988, and it would go on to become the longest running show in Broadway history. Microsoft Office arrives. In 1988, Bill Gates announced a new line of software, and it was originally a 3-pack program with Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, which many people still use today. A few other little trivia tidbits. A gallon of gas, 98 cents per gallon. The price of a movie ticket, around $3.50. The U.S. postage stamp in 1988 was 24 cents. To buy a Hershey bar at the grocery store at the gas station, 35 cents. A dozen eggs, 65 cents. A gallon of milk, $1.89. And the price of a Ford Taurus car, if you were to purchase it brand new in 1988, was $9,996. And the last little tidbit I have for you today is the highest grossing movie that was released in 1988. And this I'm actually going to read out a few choices, and then I'm going to see who will give the right answer. So I'm going to list off a few movies that came out in 1988, and then you tell me which one was the highest grossing film, and that means which one of these made the most money after it was released. So we have Die Hard, Beetlejuice, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Rain Man, Coming to America, or Bull Durham. Which one do you think? All right, you guys are excellent. Yes, Rain Man. And Rain Man came out in December of 1988, and it would go on to win Best Picture the following year. And after it was released, it made the most money out of those films. All right, thank you.
We're gonna give this technology one more go here and see if we can get it. And if we can't, then we get to enjoy cake early. In the meanwhile, I just want to say thank you again to everybody for coming. Just hearing the speakers talk today, it just really shows what a beautiful place this center is for the community of Marshall and the surrounding areas. You may have noticed we have Jim Marshall and Ryan Hoffman in the back. They're going to help serve up our treats today, so say thank you to them as they go through. And, you know, we're just happy to have them here. They've been Brian has come and called bingo for us as one of our volunteers, and Jim comes in and he shares his chats with the chief and brings us all kinds of interesting information. So we're really, again, appreciative of all the volunteers. And we're just, if we can get this to go, we will play it, and if not, then we will let you head on through the lines here.
Still not playing volume.
No volume. All right. Well, I want to again thank everybody for coming. Use the rest of this afternoon to enjoy some snacks. We've got some popcorn here for you, treats. Feel free to help yourself to that as you go through the line, and just spend the afternoon visiting and enjoying each other's company. Thank you, everyone.